Hey, this is for Kirsten. Hi, Kirsten. It's Jillian. I don't usually speak to my audience through Facebook Live unless there's something I need to admonish or I don't know, bring up because I'm annoyed. But no, this is for my friend Kirsten, who's out there in Europe, and this is something that's going to be difficult for a lot of people to process when they're trying to do the J juice and look at the empty vessel and then refilling the vessel. Like, what do I mean by that? Well, with the J juice, you're going to be releasing somebody else's programming. Okay? So you have been programmed with a purpose. You've been programmed with a purpose. And so with this purpose comes culture, it comes religion, it comes science, it comes politics. It becomes somebody else, like you're like a mother or a daughter or a wife or a husband. And so you've been given a purpose by somebody else. And then also too, the Disney programming, they actually create purposes for people, the archetypal purposes, the archetypal programming, the archetypal characters, where you're either going to identify with a mother, a father, a sister, a brother, a malcontent, a prince charming, a princess. If you look up the Jungian archetypes, you'll see all the different characters a person can identify with, and that is your purpose. That is what you're going to project out there to the world. So the thing with the Jilly Juice is that you're going to release that programming that someone gave to you. And then when you're doing the Jilly Juice, you're going to recode all your DNA and regenerate what's been missing, and you're going to create now your own purpose. And so that's the thing with the J Juice, is the fact that you're actually changing your biochemistry, releasing old programming from the old world, and now you're going to redefine your body, mind, and spirit. You're going to, that's the freedom with Jilly Juice. If you have people in your world that support you. And it's very difficult, those that are in a world where there's nobody that supports them, they will have a hard time releasing the old programming. You see how much of a trouble it is for me to deal with the old world, with old programming, old archaic ways of doing stuff, and then here's the new Jilly Juice programming, where indefinite life, you actually create a purpose for yourself. You're not having it forced by somebody else, force you into a label, into a box, into a position. And so, but I am relatively autonomous. I don't have any kids. I don't have any dependents, except for my dog. My husband is relatively independent. So I have more freedom than most people. Some people create jails for themselves. They've painted themselves in such a corner that there's no way they can evolve, even if they tried, because they would not have the support system to do that. And so, yeah, they're relegated to whatever programming that was given to them by their community, by their parents, by everybody, their husbands or wives, their group of friends. That's why I say rise above the pack mentality. Women have it the worst because women have painted themselves into a corner. Women have also tried to be advocates for other women, but still have very tight parameters that they give to other women and say, yeah, well, we're for women's rights, but here, if you go outside of this line, this box, then you're not deemed anyone except an outsider. Because I'm thinking about like the people in California. I was looking at a girl's Facebook who said she had coffee with somebody. She spent 3 hours with them. And I'm like, God, I wish I could spend 3 hours with someone that had something to say for 3 hours with me. You know, but there's probably people that I could do that with, but they're on the J Juice and they're in different states. I don't think there's anybody in my world here that I could sit at a coffee shop and talk to for 3 hours. But what do people have to say? Not many people have much to say. And if you have something to say, they shut you down pretty quick. So so that's why I turned to Facebook. That's why you see me on Facebook. Because people don't want to hear about J Juice. And so this is what I do. I give it to the freaking world because no one here in my world wants to hear about it. So I'm going to say it out there to that world out there. Which I get, Jilly Juice releases people from a programming that some people want to stay in, which I get it. But some of you are facing the fact that, now you'll be releasing the old programming. What is the new? Well, you're now going to create your new life. You're going to be creating your purpose. It's not going to be the old activism, the old politics, religion, and science. And it might. But at some point, you're going to see that as pointless. Because really, there's no reason to be more right or more wrong. There's no reason to be hierarchy or above or below anyone else. There's no reason to say that that is not good or that is bad or have a judgment on anything. As long as somebody abides by the law, there should be no issue. Let the law decide who was right and who was wrong. If the laws change and you don't agree with it, well, mind your own business. If somebody is doing something harmful to somebody, believe me, karma or, that will come around. Not everyone gets the justice, so karma will give them justice if they're really truly hurting somebody. Not your perception. And our laws are pretty close to the natural law. Okay? And so I want you to look forward to is creating your purpose. Because yes, when you're doing the J Juice and you're releasing the old programming, then what are you going to fill your life with? What do you want to create for the future? And that's a hard thing because people have been given a purpose. They've been given a reason to live. They've been given everything in their life. And when they're not given a purpose, they got to create their own. They're like, I don't know what to do. And I get it. Because it's easy out when someone gives you stuff. That's why our society is the way it is. Because people are entitled. They had everything given to them. They never had to work for shit. And if they did, then if they didn't meet up certain expectations, and somebody would always have, a safety net underneath them, and they would always be caught before they fell. Hold on, I gotta turn my stove down. Whew. And so this is when you start creating your life. And that's what you saw me do the last couple of days, is saying, okay, I'm going to now start creating what I want, the projects that I want to do to make humanity so amazing, where it's not denigrating anybody, it's not being an activist, it's not trying to go up against the government, it's not trying to stop chemtrails or stop biofortification or be against GMO. No, that's all the old world. That's how they get people triggered with their dopamine and serotonin. Now it's time to create something from nothing, not piggyback on somebody else's bullshit. When you create something from nothing, you're now trying to invent something that most people hadn't thought of. Or you take what other people have done and make it better. Not like say, oh, that's wrong, that's bad, that you shouldn't do that. But understand why we have biofortification. Understand why we have GMO. Understand why we have vaccines. Learn different arguments. Learn how to do formulas. Do things that you would never do because of the old world, the old programming that you were forced to deal with. And that's what limits our society and the people in our societies, because they have been imprisoned by a biochemical programming. And then that's their purview. That's their very limited lifespan with blinders. And then, they don't see much future for themselves because they can't even think and sit for a minute without being all antsy. Imagine if you could sit for 6 or 8 hours in a day on your computer learning a formula or reading really difficult academic publications from PubMed and you understand every single word. Imagine if you could do that. And then you understand what goes on out there. You understand why they do what they do. You don't make any assumptions. That's filling your world with purpose. Not living off the assumptions that you made because you're having issues with your biochemistry and you want someone to blame. And so, yeah, we need to break free, not only men, but also women. You guys stop painting yourself in a box and stop painting each other in a box. Promote the strengths in each other. Say, hey, you can create from nothing. You don't have to sell anything to get satisfaction. More money and more material things is not it. I don't see it as any kind of real purpose, because then it ends up in the bottom of your closet where you have to give it away anyways to Goodwill. So why not create an idea? Why not draw a beautiful picture on a canvas? That's the dream that I want from the girls on the J Juice and the boys on the J Juice. That the world is a blank slate. And that's the amazing thing about J Juice, is that you are going to come from a blank slate where anything is possible, barring that the environment and your biochemistry can handle it, that you have the biochemical stability. Because no, if you're not bred to fly, then you're not going to grow wings. So you have to be a little bit appropriate in your anything can be possible type of thing. Okay, there are parameters. But it's time that you guys start dreaming and stop always fighting and stop trying to survive and take the time to actually heal. Take the time to understand yourself. And yeah, this weekend, I was alone most of this weekend because my husband out there, fishing and whatever. And I was facing my own demons. Oh, I had some demons that I was battling like you would not believe. I had demons that were just in my face. But it's nobody else's fault. People are people. They can't help be who they are. I can't be mad at them. I can't hold them accountable for anything because they didn't do anything to me. That's the issue. They're not doing. That's okay. They don't need to. It's not their job to make me feel like a good person or a bad person. They do what they do. I do what I do. I am responsible for myself, much like all of you are responsible for yourself. It's nobody else's responsibility to make you happy. But I also want to see so much better in our society. I also want to see more men and women uplift each other and create new and different things. So that way we have less people fighting wars out there and more people creating things that are making humanity better, easier, more adaptable, and more streamlined. And who knows what's possible from there. You won't even know what's possible until you actually clear the gunk and you get rid of the old programming. And that old programming is, antibodies. Excess antibodies, agonists and antagonists. The plug and play stuff that you have swirling around in you, that some of the programming is old programming that really is just not serving you. It's causing cancer, disease, and chronic illness and the aging process. So yeah, there's no evolution when you have so many of those antibodies doing pinball on all of your organs and cells and systems. But I gotta go, but I just wanted you to know, Kirsten, that yes, you will have a chance to have a blank slate and fill your own purpose. What that purpose is, you'll figure it out. Whether it's writing a book in German, I think you have a different language. Once you get clear and I get this book written, if you decide to translate my book, I'll go half on you and you can promote it to everybody in your country. And that's what I offer everyone that's on the J Juice that does a different language. If you know how to translate my new book coming out, because it'll be my last book, I'll go half on you and you promote it in the language in the country. But I have to know you've been part of the J Juice world. It can't be just some random person that happens to speak a different language. And so if you've been part of my world and you've been doing the J Juice and I know it, I've known you and it's not going to be a lot of people because only a handful of people have told me, have really kept following up with me in their progress. So it's going to be hard for me to really vet those people out. But that's what I offered you, Kristen. Is that could be something as a new venture, and then you can write your own story. And who knows what that story is going to entail. And that's the creation around J-Juice, is that you can create anything you want. So as long as you know that it's going to help somebody else realize their potential, that painted themselves in a box, in a prison, and now they broke free because they're on the J-Juice, and now they're not subject to that old programming anymore. So that's what I offered all of you, especially you, Kirsten. All right, bye-bye.